Welcome to A Canadian Investing in the U.S., a podcast and YouTube channel focused on Canadians buying real estate with host Glenn Sutherland.
Welcome to a new episode of A Canadian Investing in the U.S. with Glenn Sutherland. This week, I should have wrote down the episodes. Brady McDonald's back. I think we've been, how many times have we done this? Two, three times?
I think this is number 3, Glenn.
Yeah, a few times anyway. Brady,
Yeah.
I think everybody knows who you are, but if they don't, you want to give them a bit of a rundown who you are?
Yeah, Cole's notes. So I'm a Canadian, live in Florida, though. We came down here in 2022, at the end of 2022. We live in Florida, but we built a multifamily portfolio in Barrie. We started in 2015. Before that, I was a utility arborist by trade, and we started investing in duplex conversions and started a construction company, property management company. We, had 7 or 8 properties the first year and 20 the next year, and continued on. So we started exiting or came down to the US in 2022, focused on after doing hundreds of properties up in Canada. And then we focus on self-storage. We were kind of done with tenants and toilets. And so, what we do now is we source land across the entire United States off market specifically for Class A self-storage development. And so a lot of the research is done by, a VA team, but we have about 22, 23 staff that work for us full time. It essentially is a startup, but we're starting to make money now, which is great. But yeah, we've been through all of the bumps and hurdles, and it's I look forward to the conversation today about excuses and why people aren't taking action. And I mean, there's always one of those reasons out there.
Yeah,
So
well, that's exactly it. So I have students and I just talk to people, and anyone who has especially spent money on education and then they just don't do anything. It's just like, I'm like, just, you know how to do it. Just go do it. And I'm like, and we were talking briefly before we started this. I'm like, when I was looking back at, if people asked me in 2018, like, it's supposed to be a recession. 2019, it's supposed to be a recession. 2020, it's supposed to be a recession. If you just were playing that game the whole time, waiting for the top, and then you get to the top, you say, oh, it's at the top, I'm not going to make any money. You can come up with excuses forever. And then what I literally said was to myself, I'm like, oh, I need to get something to get everyone motivated. I need all these people listening. I'm like, I need people to take action and go do something. And I'm like, who's better than that? I'm like, Brady. Nobody's better than Brady for that.
I
So I'm like, I'm
appreciate
getting Brady
that.
on.
That's a huge compliment, brother. I'm not sure if it's the wisest thing to do or if it's just stupidity. Either way, we're taking action. And I mean, you know what, everybody's read the books, but at the end of the day, you got to take action, right? I mean, that's how you learn. That's how you figure things out. That's how you make progress. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. Often you feel like you lose more than you win, but that's progress. Progress is painful. Progress is not made in comfort zone, period. Right. And so, that's just one of the things I think that most people need to get really used to is you can't follow the crowd because the crowd's always sitting on the line waiting to get educated. Yep. And there's one of my favorite quotes. My buddy said this. He's like, losers educate, winners implement. Right. So, and winners, they get beat up more than they win. Right. But you continue on that path. Winning is not like an event either. Right. It's just, you got to stay relentless on it.
Oh yeah. No.
But yeah, go ahead, bud.
No. You continue. You have the better.
I was just gonna say, I was just gonna think about right now, my mindset, if because there's a lot going on. But I look back, dude, at we started in 2015. We started as one of the very first persons to creating second suites. And then so we had to create that process a lot of times with the jurisdiction. That was really hard. Market rate, prices went through the roof. We thought it was this was the easy days. But it was only good for two years. 2017, the government got involved and made it real hard again. Interest rates, they fucked with the mortgage rules, I think.
Yep.
Right. And then it was oh, what are we gonna do? We had to reinvent it. That would have been another time to stop. But then we figured it out. We did, duplexes got, so pricey. We had to start building second suites or coach houses in the backyard. Invented that. Essentially, we didn't invent it, but we were the first ones in Barrie to do that. We did 50 of those. That was hard. And then that pricing got so high that this didn't work. And then the market tanked 3 years ago. Right.
Yep.
And boom, it got hard again. It became impossible. It's all hard. right? But like, if I didn't do that, I would have gone through all the hard all the time. You would never build, done hundreds of real estate deals, right? And now, like the deals that we're doing now, it's still hard. Right now in the United States, it's the hardest time to develop Class A self storage. Debt is almost impossible to get. But meanwhile, we're going after and doing the hardest part for the developers. Why? Because when you are committed to doing the hardest part, you have literally erased your competition. And that's at the end of the day. Be okay with doing the hard shit, right? And like, just the harder to find it, try to find the hardest shit possible, because no one else is willing to do the work. And then if you rely on your core values that, hey, we do the work, we don't make excuses, we go above and beyond, we do what we said we would do, we try to get better every day, you will get this shit done if you don't quit. And I think that's people try to take the easy path. There is no easy path.
Everyone tries to take the easy path. Everybody wants the easiest thing. And if you're going to do that, just go give yourself your money to like some of those investment people, right? They'll just put it in a stock or mutual fund.
Yeah.
But talking about that, everyone's like afraid to do everything right now. It's a different fear all the time. Right now, nobody wants to invest in stocks. No one wants to put their money into anything, and they're just holding it on the sidelines, right? Which is not a great thing either. We have tons of inflation, so it's not really great for having your money.
That's also horrible to do. Yeah, to leave it sitting in the bank.
Yeah. So it honestly it's about, I guess, okay, maybe I'll word this as a question, but people who are doing this, like, they're going to have the excuses. I have a job. I don't have this. How do they do this? How do they find time? How do they manage this to actually do this? Or how does somebody take some action? How do they go about this? Are you looking to invest in the US? Are you looking for a coach rather than a coaching program? Well, you're in luck, because that's where my coaching program is completely different. It's not about just teaching you all the material. It's about like having a community of people all doing the same thing. It's about doing one-on-one calls with me to strategize, to plan, to look over deal analysis, to check markets with you. Just honestly, just to solve mistakes before they happen. If that's interest to you, you want to learn about the coaching program, or you just want to do a one-on-one call with me just for like 10 minutes, just to answer a couple questions, just to get to know me, go to my website, glensutherland.com, or at CanadianInvestingInTheUSA.com, and you can book a call right at the top. And I'd love to get on the phone with you and just even get to know everyone.
Yeah, well, I mean, the first part is like doing what, like, you've got courses, right, Glenn? And it teaches them all the basics of real estate investing, gives them the pro forma, how to underwrite a deal, how to analyze a deal, how to find a deal. The next thing you got to do is go get a fucking deal under contract and buy it.
Yep.
Like, that's the next step. I mean, but like, let's just break this down a little bit, because obviously there's a lot of fear in that.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people's real problems is that they're super distracted. And it's all the external factors that really affect our ability to take action. It's not actually the real estate in itself. It's where are you getting your messaging? Who are you surrounding yourself with? Are you, physically operating at your best? So let's break some of that stuff down. Like, are you staring at social media all the time? Are you watching the news? If so, get rid of all of it. Right? Who are you surrounding yourself with? Are you surrounding yourself with, mediocre people that are very risk adverse, that are telling you to save your money, that have never saved, will never retire? Or are you surrounding yourself with people that are constantly taking action? So even in Glenn's world, there's going to be a whole bunch of people, probably 80% of the people that aren't taking action, and there's going to be 20% that are taking action. There's nothing more important than getting around those 20%. Okay. So this has nothing to do with real estate. Most of it doesn't. That's the thing, right? Everybody thinks that it's the market, it's the interest rates, it's the strategy. It's not. This all has to do with your surroundings, the shit that's going in your ears, in your eyes, and the messaging, and how you're going to interpret that, whether it's going to slow you down or speed you up. Okay. The next thing is how do you actually feel? Like, how's your body, right? How's your mindset? Because like trust me, I've dealt with, Glenn, like I've told the story probably on previous episodes of this, but like at times, like 2 years ago, we were losing 300 to 800,000 a month when the interest rates went from like 1% to 7.5%. And the banks were pulling our lending on big developments, and hurricane hit in Florida and all this stuff. And like, you talk about fear, but the thing that was crippling the fear was, drinking alcohol, that wasn't, it was antagonizing it. It was actually creating it. Right. So And so it was like self-induced, and then you put yourself into a spiral. So I really, when I focus, when you focus on your body, making sure you're exercising, that puts your brain in a state that it can actually get some stuff done. You will have a higher capacity and tolerance for stress. You will think more clearly, more strategically, etc. And so I honestly, like, it seems so backwards, but the number one things people should do is focus on their body, because that's what fixes this and helps this. But then from there, you can actually think logically. You can think clearly. You can think strategically. You can deal with stress. You can decompartmentalize what's real and what's not. You can surround yourself with better people, because the better people, the 20%, they do all the shit I'm just talking to you about. And you want to talk about core values and being surrounded around people that have, common interests, then, look after your body, look after
Yeah.
your mindset.
Yeah. Well, and you were in the hat right now. For people who are listening to this, he's got the hat on. I brought my shirt out.
Yeah. 0 to 100, baby.
Yeah. So yeah, you just talked about all the exercise, and we talked about even how this, as much as this is real estate, it isn't. It's a like it isn't. And even myself,
It's
I'm like, it's so much stuff that I'm doing that isn't real estate. But talk about, like, the 0 to 100. Talk about, like, how some of this stuff applies to even your life, and how even to do real estate, or how you apply this to business, or even to your life. Because, like, I know you're just talking about the alcohol, and it's a phones, it's the playing on, TikTok for hours, and what it does is it just takes your mind away from actually thinking about what you're actually trying to accomplish. And your mind is powerful. If you give it if you just sit there and you think about what your actual issue is, you can usually find a solution, or think about someone who has a solution for you. Like, what is it, Napoleon Dynamite? That's what he did for a living. People paid him a lot of money just to sit and think about problems. Nobody wants to even sit and think about their own problems. They would pay someone else to sit and think about their problems.
You know what? I think you had the nail on the head right there, Glenn. I did have this epiphany only maybe like 4 months ago. It's like I'm the CEO of, some of these companies, and like, the Canadian one was pretty big at a time, and it's now pretty small. The American one is pretty big, but like, really, I get paid to think, right? And it's like, if you don't create time or space, or somehow, like, and we're all different how we think. Like, some people can just sit at a desk and think. Some people might have to sit on a chair. For me, I run, because running is like, kind of mindless, and I don't listen to music, but like, for me, that is the time to think and solve problems, create clarity. It's like medicine for the mind. It could be for you, it could be on a stationary bike. But yeah, thinking is the superpower,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
You just got to find your thing, right? And you're like, hey, I can't do physical, so find a different thing to do, to think. It could be like, what I used to do, or to force my mind into it, was when I was just driving. I'd go for, like, I'm
Yeah.
driving a 2 hour drive. You don't have the radio or nothing on, your mind is going to have to take over. Like, you don't
Hmm.
have anything else for it to focus on. You're going to start thinking about stuff.
Yeah.
Go for a walk. Go. It doesn't have to be as intense. It
Yeah.
just has to be your time to think.
Yeah, and
And
I think that's where, like, if we talk about the 0 to 100, what this is like, this is just like, it's a way of life. Okay, so that's how it really came to me. But then I'm like, how did my life get to be so fulfilling, or how did I start to become a better person ultimately, and how did I start to become a better entrepreneur, and be able to communicate better? How did I become a little bit better dad? And this is an evolution. I'm not great at any of this shit, right? It's just, but I'm working on it very intentionally. And the very first thing that I ever did that helped me was do the 75-day hard. Now, that thing is like, it's a physical, actually, it's a mindset challenge. 75 days straight. You're supposed to work out for 2 days, 2 times a day. One has to be outside, not drinking alcohol, stick to a diet, take personal development, take pictures, and read 10 pages of a personal development book. Now, the problem with that is that most people, like, only 3 to 5% finish it. Most of them are out at the first week. It's not realistic. But the thing that it does is it creates consistency, and it gets you to do hard things when you don't want to do them. And it gives you time to think, right? Like, so what we did is we're like, okay, well, I want to give people the same opportunity I had by getting into their body, getting out of their head, getting into their body. And so we created the 0 to 100 day challenge. We actually have a 30-day challenge. We're starting a big group of us starting May 1st, but you can start anytime. You can sign up at 0to100.com. But the deal is that you have 45 minutes of exercise a day, eat healthy, don't drink alcohol, right? Do that for 30 days straight, 100 days straight. If you do it for 100 days straight, your life is changing. I guarantee you this real estate game just became a lot freaking easier. Like, I'm not shitting you. It's because everybody ties real estate to you just have to go and do it. That's how you get good. No, the reason you suck at it or the reason you're having problems is because you haven't got this thing figured out. So talking about thinking, right? Like, why better way to say, hey, I'm going to sign up for a 30-day challenge and I'm going to walk for 45 minutes every single day. And during that, I'm not going to have headphones, or I am going to listen to personal development books. I'm going to listen to real estate books. I'm going to listen to mindset books, and I'm going to educate myself. 45 minutes a day, guys. You will not only feel better, you'll likely lose a pile of weight, and you will get better results, right? But most of us, I always thought about this, like most of us try to chase the deal, chase the money. The more money we get, we're going to have bigger relationships. We're going to make more money. And eventually we'll have time to, look after our body, look after our mindset. But that's not how it works. That's not how it works at all. It's completely backwards. What you need to do is focus on your body. If you do that, the complicated things in business get easier. You'll become better at business. You'll make more money, and you'll be surrounded because in fitness, you can prove to people that you're willing to do the work. It's really hard to do that in business. People don't see all the hours behind the scenes of you working, right? But they do see it in the fitness world. It's just easier to show. And so I did this, and all of a sudden my circles just became better and bigger. They saw that, hey, holy shit, this guy Brady, although it's fitness, is willing to put in the work. And if he won't quit for that, he's probably not going to quit in business either. Right. And then everything else just continues to get better, guys. So
yeah, it's something that I noticed in your social media. It changed a ton, right? It went from like a lot of real estate stuff to just fitness. But I just saw your last post and you're like, hey, what is it? I'm not done, or I'm not giving, or I can't remember what it was. Anyway,
never finished. Like, yeah, I didn't quit.
I didn't quit, or I got to, but I'm not done, right? You're like partway through a race or whatever, right?
Yeah, I had to pull out of a 100-mile race last weekend.
Yeah.
At mile 80. Yeah. And it was like from a health issue. I had like, something going on with my lungs. They're filling up with fluid. And it wasn't really that disheartening. Surprisingly, I immediately said, when I did do this, was at 3:00 in the morning. I was 80 miles in, and I said to my crew, okay, I need to fix this, because that's the problem. It's got nothing to do with pulling out. It's like, we need to fix this, because if I could fix this, I can, the sky's the limit. The world's my oyster. It's just another bump in the road, and it's expected. Like hell, right? If you don't get punched, you're not trying hard enough. And I'm talking in every aspect of life. Like, if you aren't getting knocked down, you are not trying hard enough. And so,
well, you're not challenging yourself. You're just doing the easy stuff, and because like there has to be losses, and there has to be learning to it. Otherwise, you're just doing what's easy. Honestly, that's you're just doing too easy. You're not pushing yourself to the next level. And if you say, hey, I look at, you look at me, or you look at Brady, and you go, that's where I want to do. I want to be doing all this stuff. But if you're not pushing yourself past what you already are doing, how are you ever going to get to the next step? You'll never get there.
Yeah.
Have you been thinking about investing in the US, but wondering if these numbers actually pencil out? So I created a deal analyzer exactly for that reason. So if you're interested in it, completely free, go to CanadianInvestingInTheUSA.com/deal.
Well, I'll tell you a story, Glenn, because there was a time, I remember it was just in June. I was up we were building that cottage in Georgian Bay. And dude, like everything just felt like it was going sideways. We weren't making money still. I mean, we just started making money. This is like 18 months after starting this company. So, I was just like, everything was not working, employee issues, this, and I was just like, and I was having like a little bit of like just a really weak moment in my brain. And exercise isn't working. The running's not working. I'm like, I don't know what to do. I called my mentor. He's like, listen, Brady, he's like, if you want to go back and make $20,000, $30,000 pops, you can go back and do the residential game. No problem. But if you want to be taking $1 million rips, then you got to stay the course. He's like, you will think back at this moment 1 year from now, when you're taking big rips because you pushed through the pain, right? You did not quit. And you'll be super thankful you'd had that. He's like, there's two things that happen in life. You either are learning or you're earning, and you can't have both at the exact same time. So that learning comes at pain. That learning comes at failure. That learning comes at losing some money sometimes, right? But that's how it happens. You have to get through that, and then you start to earn, right? And this is there was like no better description for me. It's I'm either learning or I'm earning. If it's hard,
Love
it's
that.
learning, right? If it costs me some money, I learned something there, right? And you have to be willing to go for that. And the last bit of that was like he's just like, bro, like there is because of the physical fitness stuff, like I've trained my brain to not quit, and I've trained. And he's like, bro, you are, and this is the importance of having some badasses around you in your corner intentionally. He's like, dude, there's nobody better designed to deal with this stress than you right now. You've trained for this, right? And so, and so anyway, but the learning and or earning thing is a huge thing, guys. Like there is no way to do this but to do it.
Couldn't have worded it better. Brady, you want to talk about your company? You want to talk about anything else before we go? You want pitch your.
Yeah, I mean the coolest thing, dude, is like like so what we're doing, I'll just give it a little bit because I think this is kind of an interesting niche that we're in. So
Yeah.
like I said, the Barefoot Land Co company, you can go on Instagram and follow it. It's kind of fun. So we're sourcing this land all across the United States and doing zoning entitlements. So we find these pockets of dirt, right, that have high population, high rental rates for self-storage, and are undersupplied from a storage perspective. And then we have to go get zoning approval. So how did I learn how to get zoning approval? This is the biggest challenge that public storage worth $500 billion, or I made that number up, but a lot. They struggle with this shit. And we're going to be banging out probably 12 to 14 of these this year in 2025. And so how did I learn this stuff? How are we doing something that the billion-dollar companies can't really figure out at scale? Well, it started in Ontario, buying large houses or houses on large lots and severing them and severing the new parcel off the side, and then selling that to developers or building it ground up, right? And there's no other better way to do that. Like, and I just there's if you get good at entitlements or playing in the zoning code in Ontario, or in Canada, you can make a boatload of money just doing that, right? Because you don't lose value of the original house. It doesn't, right? But this is if I was still in Canada, this is what I would be doing. Because that's how you learn. It's all about you go into the zoning code and you figure out, okay, what is the minimum frontage? What is the minimum lot size? What is the minimum lot coverage? It's like, perfect. All that is right here on the side of this house. Perfect. Sever it, call it done. Now you got a $300,000 building lot. You have a $250,000 building lot. We did this. This is what we did before we left Canada, and we did it. And then we built purpose-built triplexes on all of them, right? We're building 12 or 16 unit complexes by severing big ass lots. But when you do that, you learn the skills that are just transferable. Like that might be a $150,000 or $200,000 deal in Ontario. Well, you do just learn it on a bigger scale. Same project in the US is 1.1 million in profit, or in Ontario it could be 3 million because land's so expensive there, right? But anyway, I just thought I would leave you with that, just because to give context of like the reason why you do the small shit is so you can do the same small thing on the big deals, right? But you have to learn the principles. You learn the principles, and you do the tasks. You do go through the pain when the risk is as least small as possible. That's why you have to do the deal. I don't care if the deal is $20,000 or 30,000 or 200,000 or 500. Practice on the $200,000 deal, right? Put in systems, put in operations, become an operator. That's why all of the real estate investors in Ontario have basically bankrupt, because they're shitty operators, right? They're running. They were investors. Like we survived. We built, like we were the last of the Mohicans. I would like to say, Glenn, like you and I, and probably like a few others. Why? Because we actually ran a business. We had operations, systems, and processes. People. We did not do this by ourselves, right? And I think that's just another thing. But just start small. Start, right?
Love it. No, love it. Wow, this was so good. All right, Brady, You want to give any? Do you want people to reach out? Do you want to give contact information or anything like that? Up
Sure,
to you.
hit me up on Instagram at Brady.McDonald84 or Facebook. Go to 0 to 100.com, sign up. We do a free accountability huddle every single Wednesday. I'm on there for an hour. You can ask me anything. We're here to help. We're just giving back. It's completely free. So thanks a lot for having me, Glenn.
This is what I'm thinking too. Whenever this airs, I'm gonna go on the Facebook group. I'm gonna get some people to listen to this, and I'm thinking as a group, we join the 0 to 100. We see if we can get a bunch of people, because then we can like make a little
Yeah.
keep
Build a
everybody
little
going.
accountability group
Yeah,
within
a
the
little
group.
accountability group. Everyone trying to do the same thing. And I found anytime you're trying to do anything, if you're around people that are trying to do the same thing, it's going to be easier.
Yeah.
I'm thinking that's what I'm doing. As soon as this comes out, I'm going to put a post out. I'll tag you on it, and then let's get a group of people going.
Yeah, let's do it, bud. Yeah, my buddy Derek Carlson. So he's got 1,200 realtors that work for him. So he does the same thing. Like we're launching. So we did a 0 to 100 day challenge. He had like 40 people of his group, and it's just yeah. If you want to do this, we could do this anytime with your group. We could all start on a big date. I could do a Zoom just with you guys to get them warmed up, right? So, and we could really make it part of your world. But it's we'll just it'd be very collaborative, so it doesn't have to be the Brady Show.
Yeah, wow, whatever. We can do it. I'm thinking of just throw it on the Facebook group. Maybe there's, I don't know, 88,000 over 8,000 people on it, and then
Yeah,
we'll find people who want to do it.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. That'd be great, bud.
Awesome.
Yeah, I honestly don't find there's a better way to help people, because if we can get them to do that, they'll take more action in real estate. I know it.
Yep. Wow, awesome. Anyway, Brady, amazing stuff. Like always, I'm jacked. I'm motivated. I'm ready to go hiking again. I'm more of a hiker than a runner, but
Yeah.
loving it. This is awesome. Thank you so much.
All right, brother. Thanks a lot. I just took a screenshot, so I'll make a post. I'll tag you in it.